of this facility one of these days. I think a little while ago it was 250 acres of barren land, and now it's slowly on its way to becoming a world-class conference tourism center, and if it's not already there, so a warm welcome. I'm going to list out to you the major meetings I've had and the major agreements that have been signed. And then we'll have a little time for question and answer. I will not be here tomorrow because I have to be in Delhi for PM's roundtable for the CEOs, but I'm here in the 2 days after that. So we'll have enough time for interaction. But if there's some specific queries, through Rajiv, I'll try and answer them. Well, we started yesterday with a very productive bilateral meeting with the UAE side. The UAE Minister Sultan Jaber, who's also the global CEO of ADNOC, he arrived. I think around 8:30 he landed, and we went straight as soon as he reached our meeting venue. We went into a dinner meeting, and that went on quite late. Specific areas were already in the process for further collaboration, already identified. If you recall, the President of the UAE had come to Delhi and had a long meeting with our Prime Minister, I think last week. On that occasion, another new LNG deal was signed. I think this one was between HPCL and this thing, but if you look at the HPCL's earlier deal and if you look at the IOCL's two deals in the end, we are buying now something like 4.5 million metric tons per annum of natural gas from the UAE, which is fairly big. Today, I had a very productive bilateral meeting with my Canadian counterpart, Minister Hodgson. We have also issued a statement on this ministerial dialogue. We have launched a joint India-Canada ministerial energy dialogue, and the statement, I believe, has been made available to you online. At some stage, I'd be very happy to answer questions on what all Canada can hopefully provide. You are aware of Canada's strengths in several energy sectors, apart from him saying that they have 100 years of reserves on crude. He also said they've got 4 SMRs, small modular reactors as thing. Also, there is a lot of discussion already going on between Oil India, who's the point person for critical minerals in our system here, and the Canadian side. So it's a very different and very welcome levels of cooperation. By the way, this is my third interaction in a few weeks with Canadian ministers. I had welcomed Minister Sandhu, if I remember correctly. Then I had the Premier of British Columbia, and today the Canadian minister, who was also very kindly with me in the ministerial opening panel. We've also had a second India-Arab ministerial energy dialogue today, which took place this afternoon. But I'm going to quickly run through now the agreements which have been signed. And I think many of you were, including some of the channels, outside channels whom I gave. Please give us the details. Not possible to give the details till the formal time for announcement come. Today we have signed 2 shipbuilding contracts between ONGC and Mitsui OSK Lines Limited, Japan, as ship owners, and Messrs. Samsung Heavy Industries, South Korea, as ship builders. Now, from what I understand, you're going to get 2 ships, one in 28 and one in 29. Then BPCL and Petrobras have signed a term contract for crude oil. This is renewal of crude oil supply from between BPCL and Petrobras of Brazil for fiscal year 26-27. The term contract of 12 million barrels of Brazilian crude is valued around $780 million. This will ensure diversification of crude oil supply and also contribute to our energy security. We have also signed, IOCL has signed MOUs with ONGC, Petronet, and with ONGC, Oil India also, for the construction of CBG plants. This is a total of what, 8 or 9 plants? 13 plants, yeah. Then, in addition to that, GAIL and K-Line and JM Bakshi Marine Services have entered into a term sheet for equity in a shipping company. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this, what this language is, term sheet for this thing, what my colleague, the ONGC chairman, says, this is actually well on the way to being a contract. It's not a MOU or a letter of intent. When you sign a term sheet, apparently it means that you've already decided and these are the numbers, etc. there. You only have to do the formal contract signing. Am I correct on this? Okay. Then Engineers India has unveiled indigenous tail gas treating technology with N-sulfi, right? That's correct, the pronunciation? Yeah, N-sulf, okay. Then several other things have taken place. We have launched the Naya Bharat ka Naya cylinder, a light composite cylinder, which was launched today. You would have seen it. It came out when you pressed the button. The Chief Minister of Goa was there. Launch of indigenously developed hydrogen-powered drone. This one has an endurance of 1.5 hours flying. But, you know, this is all technology under development. And what we have in mind is to use the same technology to produce longer duration endurance. Then the launch of all this, I think I will request ONGC chairman to take you around on a press tour one of these days, and so you can ask him questions on to your heart's content. We have a little time, so I'm going to open it up for questions. I don't have very much time because every meeting has been spilling over a little, and I have to go and inaugurate a jetty, and that has to be done before it's dark sisting. So we'll have about 15 minutes now, Arun? Maximum 15 minutes. So shoot your questions, but then this is the start of a process. Other than tomorrow, we'll have enough interaction. I'll set aside more time day after and the day after that.
Also request for one question, one correspondent.
Please introduce yourself. Some of you I know, but who wants to start?
Nidhi wants to start. Nidhi Verma from...
Nidhi Verma. Madam, you have the floor. उसको दबाना पड़ेगा, ऑन करना पड़ेगा. अब ऑन है. नहीं, देखिए कनाडा के साथ ये जो स्पेसिफिक्स आप पूछ रही हैं, यार छोड़ो. कनाडा के साथ आप जो स्पेसिफिक्स पूछ रही हैं, those are company to company interaction and details. All I can tell you is I have met 3 Canadian visiting ministers in quick succession. All of them have expressed an interest in enhancing the energy cooperation with India. Why am I using the word enhancing? Because we already have some ongoing cooperation. IOCL, for instance, has investment in a facility there, and British Columbia Premier was telling me that they are building 6 liquefaction plants, and if that happens, he would like to utilize that facility to repatriate some of the results of that investment to India in terms of natural gas. Now, Canada is very big in terms of overall availability, but it's not just in crude and gas. The Canadians are also very well advanced in some of the other areas. There's a lot of potential, Nidhi, on critical minerals. Also small modular reactors. He told me he's got 4 of them already functioning, and a lot of our companies which started off as traditional oil companies then moved to green energy. And I've been discussing with IOCL chairman and HPCL, ONGC, BPCL, Engineers India. They are all looking to diversifying their portfolios. So this platform, which is now I think the second largest platform of this kind, this is providing an opportunity for such conversations to take place. So my short answer is cooperation, potential, Nidhi ji, immense. Exact numbers, what they do, whom they will sign with, because the Canadians have private sector companies. So this is not for me to come in. Our companies, both in the private sector and in the OMCs, they will interact with them and fix the numbers. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Rohan Sharma. I represent Upलब, which is a US-based digital infrastructure publication, and I cover projects and policies in South Asia. My question to you is on hydrogen, green ammonia, which we've all been talking. I appreciate and understand all that the government has achieved in such a short time. The technology that is so recent, so my job in the press to just ask you a few questions about how the challenges, to bring some challenges to your notice, to understand in terms of the costs of hydrogen.
Green hydrogen?
Yes, green
Oh, okay.
hydrogen, and also hydrogen.
Well, I can talk about green hydrogen. You see, a lot of countries chose a path where they would go to other, transition periods and then go to green. Wherein my understanding is that when PM announced from the ramparts of the Red Fort, when he was addressing the nation, he talked about a green hydrogen mission directly. And I recall there were 2-3 components to that. One is that the government's own pursuance of green hydrogen was, I think, segmented into 6 different ministries. Petroleum and natural gas was one of them. I should like to think, but since I am the petroleum and natural gas minister, that our ministry has really made remarkable progress on that. I mean, we have done 2 or 3 things. IOCL has produced a green hydrogen fuel cell bus, on which I have been visiting dignitaries around Delhi. When the Bhutan Prime Minister came, we took him. One of those buses is on display here. Today they were displaying green hydrogen fuel cell, those golf carts, a drone powered by a green hydrogen. But I think the more remarkable thing is that we not only had the 6 ministries or 6 government department demarcation, we also introduced a PLI scheme, I think 19,700 crores, out of which we were able to get money for electrolyzer manufacturers, and that's been, I think, fully exhausted, the PLI scheme on the electrolyzer part. Secondly, I think we have succeeded in bringing the cost of green hydrogen down. I share with you very frankly, when I first had a conversation with the American Energy Secretary, Jennifer Greenhalgh, she talked, and this is very new when I was in 2021, she talked about 1 for 1 for 1. What she meant was 1 kilo of green hydrogen for $1 in a period of 10 years. Now that seemed a long haul, because when I looked around the world, I found that the cheapest rate on 1 kilo of green hydrogen was something like $5.43, which was somewhere where in Australia somebody had got it. So we issued, we took that up as a challenge. We issued 3 tenders, and we have brought the price down from $5.53. There was one 10 KTPA green hydrogen tender issued by IOCL. Then there was 5 KTPA by BPCL, 5 KTPA by HPCL, and we have succeeded in bringing the cost to less than $4 a kilogram. Now, it is less than 4, which is between 3 and 4. My sense is that if we can bring it down to below 3, if it comes to 2, 2.5, since we spend $150 billion of money on imports of energy, there will be a public policy pressure saying you shift to green hydrogen, because your buses on green hydrogen will just produce water vapor in the air. So it's a very good journey. One of the tenders, I think, was won by L&T. Another one was by it's a new Abu Dhabi-based company. But what assures me, since it's come below $4, $3 to $4, is that we have the capacity, thanks to our energy infrastructure and our commitment to green hydrogen, to expand, replicate and scale this up. So therefore, I'm hoping that the target that we have of 5 million metric tons by 2030 is not only achievable, it might appear conservative. But meanwhile, some of our companies are actively selling green ammonia to Unipar in Germany, to the Singaporeans, and they have brought the cost down to less than 51,000 rupees a kilogram, one of the lowest costs of green ammonium in globally. So I think I've tried to, as best to answer your question. I don't want to compare it with what other countries do. Partly as a minister, I'm not going to say, well, I'll tell you frankly, I think green hydrogen and green ammonium, green hydrogen in particular, lends itself for success in a country like India. Why do I say that? You have a large population base, you have a growing energy demand, you have local demand, local production and local consumption. In this in particular, some of our facilities which use, what is that called, that pump storage. Whereas you take water up to 2,500 feet, drop it, generate energy, it gets stored in this thing, so at night when you don't have solar energy, you can utilize that, and that water keeps getting recycled. So I think it's a success. I think the prices of, when I see the prices that they've contracted, I think in the times to come, prices will come even more down. We'll take one quick question because I know who you are, my friend. Yeah, okay.
So we are here for the Indian energy needs, but in Delhi, a big development has taken place where free trade agreement has been signed between India and European Union. How do you see is it going to impact the energy sector?
Listen. This was in the works. I have welcomed this conclusion of the negotiations on the India-EU free trade agreement. Today, when the Honorable Prime Minister, in his inaugural address, I hope you all were there, otherwise he referred to it also. And he referred to mother of all deals, which was a characterization which was actually given by the European side. And all I'm saying is, European Union, even when I was a young First Secretary, part of our trade delegation to the GATT, predecessor of WTO, it had 40-45% of global trade. The EU accounted for. EU has meanwhile become bigger. It's 27 countries. And I can tell you that if you look at overall global trade volume, if you look at overall global trade value, it's very high, 25%, 35%. And therefore, energy will be a very important area. Exactly how it works out, how it will be done. You know, we had signed an agreement with EFTA countries which are in terms of economic turnover, a little smaller, but this now takes the European Union's 27 on board. I'm waiting for all the details to come. I'm aware of some details, but let the agreement. Now I think, what is the exact term we've used, that we've concluded the negotiation? We've concluded the negotiation, and now, whatever processing has to be done, legal work done, etc., and hopefully sooner than later we will have the agreement the FTA go into force.
Your question, yes, please. Yes,
I was going to take one more, but I'll make an exception because I have to run to do the jetty. We'll continue this. You all are going to be in the evening program. They're coming, no?
No, sir.
They are not coming?
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
So you mentioned about critical minerals and the potential Canada holds for, especially for PSUs, OMCs, and the mining PSUs which are already, which have already constituted carbon as well. What's the role are the OMCs will be increasing?
In what?
Critical minerals.
No, there is, I say there is, government has a task force, etc., and Oil India is already part of that. So you see what happens that sometimes when you're doing mining in one area, you're also finding the critical minerals. So it's complete. Like for instance, you are looking for oil, you can find gas, and you get critical minerals. So it's part of a coordinated effort. But some of the discussions we are having, because Oil India chairman is part of that. But as it is, we don't do those independently. It has to be done in conjunction with the designated authorities. Yeah. And when my bilateral discussions with the Canadians, with the UAE, a lot of the time was spent on critical minerals.
Any critical minerals specifically lithium cobalt we're looking at. Through carbon we've been looking at mining lithium and cobalt increasingly after China
I'm not going to go into details, but talk to Ranjit Rath here separately. And I have to run literally, but I look forward to seeing you guys day after tomorrow. And we'll start the press conference a little earlier, around 4:30 or so that we have enough time for the interactive part. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. ये ले ले यार चलो आ जाओ यार चलो गाड़ी कब